Do you in some way think that the 49ers have been unfair to Trey Lance? Let's go to James, who's all the way out in Louisiana. Hey, James, you're on with Willard and JD. What's up?
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
Good.
That's good, brother. Hey, yeah, I'm going to say, 49ers necessarily weren't unfair to Trey Lance. I mean, it's the NFL. You got a job. It's like any other job, Somebody, you get sick with COVID, any type of thing. Somebody steps in and does well. Of course, the company's going to look at that person for a promotion, even though you was lined up for promotion. So I'm going to say it's not unfair. What I'm going to say is a little unfair. It's the critique of Trey Lance from the media and from everybody. Like, everything Trey Lance does is critiqued. The way he cuts his hair, the way he walks. I mean, it's just everything.
Is that true, James? James, for real? Like, I have not heard that. I have not heard someone go after Trey Lance's hair.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't remember in the office, talking about his hair when he took his hat off. I mean, it's just everything the guy does, man. I mean, it's just Trey Lance can't do anything right, and things that he does good kind of gets, brushed under the rug. So I'm going to say the 49ers aren't being unfair. They're doing their due diligence and trying to win a Super Bowl, and they feel like right now Purdy gives them that best opportunity to reach that height. And I'm not mad at them. But there's a reason why they traded up 3 first-round picks to get the dude. And, I mean, just trading him away right now and just cutting him without him getting a lot of opportunities to truly show his skill set, to me, would seem kind of like a waste. And, I mean, you got time. There's no need to rush this thing, and just get rid of him right now or do whatever. Just let him stay on the bench. Let him get his backup time. I mean, you carry 3 quarterbacks, so if God forbid anything happens to Purdy or if Purdy doesn't look the same like he does last year, let's give Trey Lance a fair shot. I mean, the Bears game, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, James, I think you're being very fair with your assessment of almost all of this. I will tell you that as we sit here today, I don't think that if Brock Purdy gets hurt, Trey Lance is going to get his chance. I think he's going to get his chance if Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold both get hurt. And that's just how I feel today. And that's not me even telling you who I think should back up. That's me telling you who I think will back up. So you remember someone went after Trey Lance's hair?
Yeah.
Was it what? Because
I don't remember it being an actual
media.
Yeah, it was thinning in the way that it was styled. It was stupid.
So,
it did happen, and it was really stupid.
Okay. Somebody's hair?
I want to say it was more of a social media thing than maybe an actual pundit
like in a
said
LeBron
something,
sort of a way.
But
like
I could
people
be
make
wrong.
fun of LeBron's hairline.
Almost like if I remember correctly, it was almost like, dude, don't even try to style it, just take it out, or just.
I remember specifically, it was when he was working out with his personal quarterback coach, Jeff Christensen. He posed for a picture with Patrick Mahomes, who also goes to Christensen. And then there was a UCLA quarterback commit who they were all working out with. And people on social media, specifically Twitter, absolutely were roasting Trey Lance's hairline.
Well,
yeah. So I think it's mostly just a Twitter thing.
I mean, that's part of being a celebrity, to be honest with you. That's just, you know what I mean? Like if you got a different look, people are going to say stuff. That's a bunch of, I would hope Trey could just blow that off.
The 2 things that have come up, though, in the last 2 calls, aside from that, is the critique of Trey Lance. And here's what I think is interesting about the critique of Trey Lance. There is this notion, and we've seen it a little bit over the last 3 days, of, okay, he didn't play well against the Raiders. The extremes of, well, he stinks, and it's just not going to happen, and his career's over. I do think there's an overanalyzation. Yes, right now, I think he's the 3rd best quarterback the 49ers have. That doesn't mean his career's over. It doesn't mean he stinks. It doesn't mean he's a complete bust. Maybe we're heading down that road of he could be a bust, but
I'll agree with you from this standpoint. I would contend
the opinions are so strong.
Yeah, but I would say you're allowed to have that opinion, but don't base it on Sunday. You're right. I did.
Yeah, no, you did.
And I had it before Sunday. And I still have it. But that opinion is largely based on me thinking that that's the 49ers' opinion, based on their behavior. Now, again, it's like this world in 2023 forces you to use big words, big firm words in order to say it. I would never use the word at this point bust, just because there's too many connotations around that. However, and this is one of the things I really want to talk to JT O'Sullivan about, because if you do want to just breathe for a second, and instead of doing the hot take game, and instead of making it about something other than quarterbacking, and you really want to just see what the 49ers see, and the fact that they watch tape, and when they go over the tape, and you can see what JT sees, and not just, oh, Trey's feet didn't look great, or, oh, he threw it out to the flat in the right, and it was overthrown a little bit. That's the stuff that we see. Go to JT's site, the QB school, and look at what the 49ers see. There's so many things going on that you can't see that are terrible for a pro quarterback. When there is somebody running wide open over the middle, think about it. If you're Kyle Shanahan and you're like, okay, I'm an expert play caller, and I call a play, and it runs the guy wide open that it's supposed to run open, and there's a first down or a chunk play waiting there, and Trey Lance, you see it on video, he drops back, and he looks at it, and the receiver is right there, and he goes, nope. And then the receiver runs by another linebacker, and he's even more open. And Trey goes, nope, I'm still not going to throw it. We don't see that on TV. All we see is then he goes to a check down and overthrows it. You go, oh, ball was thrown a little bit high. But if you're Kyle Shanahan, you look at that video and you go, this is a disaster. I can't work with this.
At a minimum, it's part of the reason why he doesn't win the backup job.
Right.
At a minimum. Like he might at a minimum it's all right, well that's a really bad negative play. That's a really bad negative play.
But we don't see it. That's the good aspect of what's happened with social media and the internet. The access that we all have is fantastic. It gets abused. It gets abused and twisted and turned and all of this. But if you really want to go seek out, and this is why, and Kyle sounds all snooty when he says it, hey, the more I can educate, the better. And everyone goes, freaks out about Kyle Shanahan.
The more the better, so I can help educate.
Right. Oh, God, what a jerk. He thinks he knows. He does know something. Can you all just submit that Kyle Shanahan knows more than you? I'll do it. I'll be first. Kyle Shanahan knows way the hell more than me about quarterbacking and football. Way more. So if you want to go see that, you can. And then when you see it, maybe people will come away from all of the things they say that have nothing to do with this, whether it be race or small school or overdoing Brock Purdy or he's sabotaging all of this junk, absolute junk that is out there for your consumption. You can go find the answers. You just have to try. You have to try. Don't listen to the lazy stuff. That's all it is. Jonathan in the city. Hey, Jonathan, you're on Willard and JD. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Thanks for saying the word junk. Dude, you guys are getting all these phone calls, and I think they're all seagulls. And they're bringing all this junk. They keep on calling up, hey, Trey Lance should be playing with Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey. He's not getting a first. I don't get it, bro. Brock is awesome. Literally, the guy was a box checker until his arm was like hanging by his elbow skin. The guy checked every box. Whatever was put in front of him, he did. He was perfect. He had a perfect record. And I don't know why we're getting all this weird vibe from all these callers. Keeps on putting Trey Lance out in the spotlight like Brock doesn't exist. Hey, let's play a game. Let's say Trey is Purdy and Brock is Lance. Take the phone calls, guys. I'm super annoyed by the fan base.
I get it. Jonathan, thanks. And you know what? I mean, even that sort of insinuation, I don't love it because that makes it all about like the aspects of Brock and the aspects of Trey and that whole CNN and Fox thing that I've mentioned a couple of times. It really shouldn't even exist. This is not Brock versus Trey. They're teammates. They're teammates. They're vying for the same position, and it's a blowout. It's a total blowout.
They're really not even vying for the same
They're
position.
not. Well, not
right?
anymore.
I mean,
not anymore.
That's the part that I think I'm able to put it in that box of, like, I got into this, again, social media, Twitter back and forth, where there was somebody that was trying to go through, and he's asking all these reporters individually, well, who's been the best quarterback at camp? Because there's been people that have said the best quarterback at camp is Trey, and I got into the mix and I said Trey has not been the best quarterback at camp to my eye. Others have said this. He may have the highest completion percentage. I know that number was floating around last week. There have been individual days, I think, where each of the three quarterbacks you could say had the best day, but I'm not evaluating Trey or Darnold at this point on the same level of, like, Brock's done. Brock,
totally.
He's in his own category. Like, I'm evaluating Brock as the starter because they've said it, and he's, in my mind, has earned it for now. We'll see what happens as the season plays out, but I'm more viewing it as Trey versus Darnold at this point when I'm looking at,
for sure,
at those two, because we all know Brock's the starter at this point. At least we should.
I think there
was nothing that was going to happen at training camp aside from Brock Purdy not being healthy to where Trey was going to win the starting job over Brock Purdy. Like, that was just never going to happen. So I completely cleaned that from my mind.
Well, they told you
a month ago.
Yeah, they've said it. They've said it all off season.
So that's not. But I do think there are people that still were thinking about it, and that's fine.
But a lot of people have ended up in the vortex, which I now like. They're car salesmen. You're a car salesman, and here's what I mean by that. If I go to a car dealership, okay, let's say I go to a Mini Cooper car dealership. Well, they're not going to be like, come on in. Oh, do you have kids? Because if you have kids, look at the spacious nature of my car. No, they don't have that to offer. So they're going to show you something else. They're going to hope that I like to zip around. They're going to hope that I like to have some pretty high-tech music gear in front of me and all the things that a Mini Cooper offers. When you're a salesman, you point to the things that you have to offer, and you ignore, you push away, you try to take your potential customer and do not look over here. Do not look in the trunk because you can barely fit 2 golf clubs back there. Sir, do you golf? Oh, well, no, we're not going to ask that question because we're hoping the answer is no. And that's what a lot of people have done with Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, and practice stats. Oh, well, okay, sure, he threw a pick, but who was the receiver? So we're going to make this look. It's the same way we all build our resumes, right? Highlight what we can that's good and make you try to ignore all of the bad. It's a total waste of time. It's a total waste of time.
The other thing that I won't do is go as far as to say, all right, Trey stinks now. Like, that's because I don't want to go that far. I don't believe that it's been to that extent from what I've seen, and even if you factor in the game on Sunday, which was bad, like it just changes the course at which Trey would have to get back in the mix.
I agree with you.
Like, he could go out and Trey could go out and be awesome Saturday, and I know Kyle Shanahan said today, at least hinted at today, they're going to flip it. Darnold is going to.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Darnold is going to start and get the first half, and then Trey's going to come in at some point. So he is going to keep that even, as he has with the practice reps to this point between the two as he evaluates. So he's keeping it all fair as far as that goes.
I agree with you. That's also just about tone, though. I would say it this way. Do I think Trey Lance stinks? Let's move on.
Yeah, and I'm not coming down your road either.
No.
It just does seem like that's been, like, sure, as the days have gone on, it feels like there's been more of that.
I think there are some major concerns. That's what I would say. I think that Trey has some characteristics that you should not have in your third year, whether you've played at all. Whether you have played at all. He has 0 starts. And there were things in that Raider preseason game that you should not see in year 3 in the NFL. Steve in Foster City. Hey, Steve, what's going on? What are you doing?
Hey, guys, I'm at work. I'm actually just pulled into Home Depot. Hey, I got a quick analogy. I don't know if someone else has said this, but it's funny because you're a car salesman. It was a perfect segue. So say you go into the showroom and you buy this really nice Range Rover, right? Looks beautiful, got all the bells and whistles, but, Range Rovers really aren't all that reliable. You come to find out after driving it around a little bit that, it kind of goes back to the shop a couple times, but you got this nice Chevy Tahoe that's sitting in the garage. It's very reliable. Now, you're going to put your family in which car to go, say, on a long road trip at, say, 17 trips, 17 stops? Which one are you going to feel good about getting your family from point A to point B and back home?
So, Steve, the answer's obvious. I think it's a very good comp, but I also have something I really want to say about that. And it has nothing to do with the way we talk about Trey. It has everything to do with the way we talk about Brock.